Oh, the heat is on. The heat is on. Dun, 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 dun. Come on. We have special edition strawberry jammy dodgers for breakfast. It's breakfast. It's about midday, but obviously I've been on nights and I've been to bed. It's not that I'm expecting trouble, but I got a good deal off eBay. 6 cans of carb spray cleaner, STP, it's good stuff, for what other people were charging for 2. So yes, so we're all prepared. I did need some anyway. So yes, these, as you've just seen, I've just given a quick just to knock the worst off. And then today, I come to the decision, so I did, that what I might have to end up doing is splitting the carbs, but not like you do obviously in inline 4, which is really fiddly. Basically, how you've got to look at these is 2 banks of 2 joined together. That's pretty much what it is. And obviously you've got a linkage there and a linkage there for the butterflies, and then you've got these adjoining links, one top, one bottom, because one's for choke and one's for throttle butterflies, and they're fairly easy to get apart. And then you can then, with these screws at the side, which look fucking well mullered, you can then split them into 2 banks, because they're easy to get in an aqua-jiggler like that. I can put them in as a pair, but I might even do it another way. I might just put the aqua-jiggler on, get it up to temp, and just stand it in, give it a wiggly jiggly, turn it around, put the other end in, give them a wiggly jiggly, because that'll do. Because we're not going to take the diaphragms out or anything like that. I can open the chokes up and spray through the choke surfaces. Passages, you... Oh, God damn it. Anyway, these have dried overnight. And yeah, that's how it's gone. Like the desert sands of Arabia. But the good thing about it, when it goes like this, you can actually brush a lot of that off. It's not... the problems really do arise when it's dry like this and then it sits for a long time, because then it sort of bakes itself on. While it's like this, because it's only been dry for a day, a lot of it will brush off with the old brushy and the old little brushy, and the rest of it, they're going to go in the aqua-jiggler anyway. But these can be brushed. I'm just bearing in mind there's a good possibility that the inside of the jets, Benny and the Jets, are now like this. So primary task right now, I'm going to get all the jets out of the carby tinkles. So I'm going to crack on to it. You've seen me do this shite before. Basically, the big secret with jets, if you get you right down. Hang on, let me get my... Ooh, what's that mark, James? It's arrowdite, in case any of you are wondering. Anyway, ooh, look. A shoestring shed beverage holder available in the merch stores down below. Today's beverage of choice, coffee. Bullshit time. It tastes so much better out of a shoestring shed mug. Get yours now. Anyway, I'm going to shoot you off for a second, and then no, I'm not. I'm going to tell you the secret of jets first. Crikey, Jim, you're actually remaining on track. Okay, the secret to jets is, you'll see each of them have got a screwdriver slot, and there's hexes as well, usually. This is your main jet. This one, your main jet is the little bit on the top, the little screw bit, and that screws in to the bottom bit, which is your emulsion tube. It's nothing to do with paint. And basically, when we pull the emulsion tube out, that is what your needle in your float, that's acting inside. If that's blocked up, there's no fuel for when the needle rises under the vacuum pressure, because the differential in air pressure and all this bollocks makes it rise. It can't get any fuel, so the needle will still rise, but it's not getting any fuel because your emulsion tube's blocked. Usually your jet will block first, because obviously that's sitting in the float bowl, that's right in the line of any detry shit, and it's like that, so it's dead easy. But the trick is, get a screwdriver that fits across the entire width of it. Don't put a screwdriver that's too small in, because these are actually made of cheese, and not very hard cheese, and you will strip them out. You'll muller them. You'll muller the top of them, because they go with a crack. I wonder, can I do one now? Let me just see if I can do one. Sometimes they go with a little sharp. I'm in this. Oh, there you go. They shouldn't be in gorilla tight. Shouldn't. But quite often, if it's the first time they've been apart for years and stuff like that, they can be right buggers. But just don't be overly aggressive with them, and just use the right size screwdriver, and you'll see that that one, that's your pilot jet. Well, you can call it what you like. You may call it something else in your country of origin, but basically that's your main jet on top, your emulsion tube underneath, and then next to it, or somewhere next to it, not always in this configuration, you will have your pilot jet, which is your initial running and your idle circuit, which is joined to your choke circuit, which is your choke is on the side here, as you can see. This is just a needle valve which you control with the lever. When you pull the needle valve out, it enriches a circuit in here. They can work one or two ways. They can give more air or more fuel. Usually air, and you've got to make sure all those are cleaned out, because if it's not running at low RPMage, it's your idle what you call your idle circuit, or your low speed circuit. If it's not running good, high RPMs, it's your other circuit. So anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to get all these jets out, stick them in there, and then they can all go in the aqua glove. My friend Mark always recommends putting jets into alloy wheel cleaner and just let them pickle overnight. Apparently he has had great success with that, so that's something else to try as well. I've got some proper carb cleaning solution and spray, and I shall do it that way. These will be sprayed. I mean, this is like building a sandcastle on the beach. They'll pretty much wipe clean, but I'm going to give them a wipe with carbatinkle cleaner, get all the sediment off. We're going to make sure the tips of the needle valves, you see that's got shite on it. Focus, you fuck. I don't know whether it is in focus, because this small GoPro doesn't have a screen on it. So yeah, just take me word, hopefully you can see the tip. So that all needs to be cleaned up, because that is a rubber tip. They need to maintain the pliability and the softness, because that is what seals inside your needle seat. And I will be taking those seats out, cleaning them through, making sure I can get to the passages below, because that is your fuel inlet. So yeah, so that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to turn you off. I'll bring you back when I've got them all out. Please don't, Jim, please.
A few moments later.
Okay folks, good demonstration of what I've just said about all this stuff being made of cheese grommet. That one started to well out. I have left it well alone. We can get cleaner through it. The jets and such aren't really blocked. They look okay, I think it was just the crustacean that had formed around them was preventing them sucking up fuel. And this one, completely mullered, it decided to break. It's not a biggie. It will still work perfectly. The slot is only there to get it out. I could, if I was very, very patient, cut another slot and unscrew it. I'm going to leave it be because I know I can get cleaner through it and past it. And that's the small emulsion tube for your pilot circuit. Interesting thing about your needle valve seats. These are the seats that your little needles sit in, your little rubber tip needle. The majority that you'll come across usually are a press fit. They just push in and they have a little O-ring underneath. Nice, Jim, share that with the people. And they have a little O-ring and you just push them in, just tap them in. You just have to very gently tap them in. Tap, 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 tap. But these have got hexes on, which suggests that they may thread in. I'm not going to play silly buggers and give it a trial pull or anything like that. The thing is, they're going to be something like a 10mm head, 9-10mm. I'm guessing 10mm looking. We'll go and get a miniature socket set, and we'll just get these seats out, just so we can clean them thoroughly. And we'll put. What I tend to do is I don't mix floats up. So when the carbs are back round in their original orientazione, all these floats will correspond to what bowl they've come out of when they're cleaned up. I'll clean them up individually because obviously each individual one has been adjusted for that float height. With this little tag there, you see, that's what you bend to increase or reduce the float height. So they've all been set for whichever bowl they've sat in. So they're going to go back in the same way. Everything else doesn't really matter. Really, there's no great shake about it. So so that's where I am at the moment. I'm still stripping in the shed. The other top tip, if you're working near needle seats, floatage, getting the pins in and out, be really careful getting the pins in and out. These posts that the pin sits through, they can be notoriously brittle, especially on older bikes. If you break one, there are people out there that can repair them, so do not lose heart, dear heart. But quite often it's a replacement carbatinkle, which these days, stick a Chinese copy on. There's a Chinese copy of nearly every Japanese, European carburetor out there. And to be honest, think of how many Chinese-built bikes are going around places like Pakistan, where you are literally only allowed one motorcycle, one make of motorcycle and stuff like that. Do you know what? Set them up right, they work fine. People make the mistake of sticking these Chinese carburetors on bikes, because we might have to go down that route with Phyllis. If the fuel injection can't take the 150, I'm going to have to go to carb, so it gets the proper fuel oleum air oleum mix. And I'm just going to put a knockoff carb on it. The mistake people make is they take it out of the box thinking, oh, it says on the list that it fits this bike. They don't set it up, and they wonder why it pisses fuel everywhere, or it's got fuel starvation or whatever. Still do your bench settings. Lesson for the day. Did I mention that you can get mugs in the merch store along with hoodies? Yes. Do you know what? I thought the other day I want to redo the merch stores. I've already got a brand new sticker up there for a little clan I want to develop over several sites, and it's called Loved Not Least. Just to show people that you're proud of, knocking around in a shitter or something like that, or you're proud of keeping something old going, rather than anybody, absolutely anybody, even the shittest credit history in the world, Jim, can go into a dealer and get a brand new bike or a brand new car, or 5-year-old bike, 5-year-old car, whatever, and look good and go and get the turkey teeth done and all this lot. Just show people that you're not like that. And buy a Love Not Least sticker. Available in my Redbubble store and my Spring store. Plug over. For that.
12 seconds later.
I've just paused, I've got a little bit of music on, because while I'm jiggery farting, I have my music on, or a podcast or something like that. A little tip, when I get these STPs, they've got a little spout on, which is great, but I bought some 2mm, I've said this before, I bought some 2mm silicone tubing, and the great thing is about that, I can ram it down the holes and blow through the passages, because remember, some of the passages are for air and some are for the fuel oil mix, but with this tube I can let's show the people, let's show them, shove it into most carb orifices, and then if it all pisses out back, you know that passage is blocked. But if I do that, I know it's clear. I am a genius with a penis. Tiny one. Or just setting the aquajiggler up, just warming it up. It will warm up during the process, so you can use it stone cold if you want. It cleans so much better, darling, when it's hot. It's a bit like the difference, like having a cold wash or having a nice hot bath. And I like a nice hot bath. Possibly a hot tub with a pair of ladies. And a kebab. Sounds like the wife on the phone when I'm at work. Side A's had a quick pickle. Time for side B. This method actually works quite well. Nice. I've cleaned 2 of the floats up. The only thing is with this stuff, any carb cleaner or anything like that, wash it in water afterwards. So give it a good rinse. These will get a good rinse under the tap. Blow through with the airline. And then bung them in front of the heater. Lovely. Oh, it makes you want to go and get some soup or something. The carbs are ready to be rinsed. They've come up quite well. Nice. So I'm going to go and rinse some in water now. Give all the passages a blast through again. And now all the other bits are in there, which is the bottom of the float bowls, other little bits, all the jets and stuff are in there as well. They're in there. It's the vibration that causes the cleaning. So they're in the little pot I put them in, and they're all in there jiggling away. I've given the floats a quick dip, but obviously they float, which is what they're supposed to do, hopefully. I've given these a clean up carb cleaner, so we'll go and rinse those, and then I can start putting them back together. Yes! Pickling of float bowls, jets, etc. done, and as you can see, there's a bit of scuzz on top. Now all this settles, and the good thing about it, I've got a nice drain on this one, which I didn't have on the last one. So when I've done stuff like that, I wait for the water to cool, I drain it out, and then refill it ready for the next time, or I'll leave it empty, and then when I'm using it again, I'll put it back, hand gestures. And then the carb tinkers down there, I've rinsed them, I've given them another with cleaner, and we'll just give them another little when we put everything back in again. So I'm going to get the stuff out of it. Actually, let's see if I can fish one of the float. Oh no. Oh fucking hell. I can't grab anything. Oh, here we go. Now, I didn't bother brush cleaning these before I put them in. I just put them in. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm quite happy with that. I'll give them a little spray and a little scrubbage. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to take these out, give them a rinse in some water. Because if you don't, it leaves a residue, and the residue it can bung up just as easily as the shite you're trying to remove. And then we'll give the floats another cleaning, and then I'll start putting everything back together again, because it's only 2 o'clock on a Saturday and it's horrible outside, it's raining. I was going to spend a little bit of time on Phyllis, carry on stripping Phyllis, but I think I might be doing that tomorrow.
The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing in such a way that the 2 spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panometric fam. The lineup consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes, so fitted to the ambifacient lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal Lotus-O deltoid type placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator. Every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible tremie pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the gram meters.
Hello folks. Right. Oh no, I dropped my spanner. Rinsed it all. Still got just clean the floats, but rinsed it all. They're all nice. There is a little bit of corrosion inside these carbs. But just a quick 5 minutes. See, there's still a tiny bit of residue, but remember I didn't clean them out first. So a quick going over with the old carb cleaner and a paintbrush, that will get them good, trust me. Or don't, your choice. It's a wise choice either way. When you rinse the water off your bits, off your jets and stuff, I keep them in this little pot and then just run the tap over them, and then give them a little bit of a shake, and then bring them out on here or some kitchen paper or something and dry them all out. Just want to get the water out and rub off any residue that's left. But the golden rule when you're rinsing stuff like this, keep the plug in the sink. I have learnt to do this, otherwise you're going to be spending your afternoon disassembling the kitchen sink. And always remember to rinse it out, you know, while the good lady's watching, if you want to annoy your good lady and stuff like that. Because as blokes, it's what we do. So yes, so now I'm going to give these a spray with carb cleaner. They've had a dunk in the cleaner, but I'm just going to clean them with the carb cleaner and give them a wipe over. Make sure they're clean. And then I'm going to get my carb cleaner, blow through all these jets, and what I need to see, especially from these emulsion tubes. These emulsion tubes, I don't know whether the camera will pick it up, but they've got little holes all the way along their length, which is what how they work basically. If those holes are bunged up, they don't work properly. So what I want to do, when I squirt some jizzage through, I tend to block one end up, squirt it through, and then I want to see it spurting out the little holes. The jets, if I can see daylight through them, which I can, that one, they're as good as clean, but I will run very gently a cleaning wire through them, and then they'll be alright. Quite often they'll blow clean, but if we do it with a wire, or you can do it with a soft piece of plastic or anything like that, anything that's not going to score up the brass, you can just ensure that they are clean. The tips on all the needles are good, nice, still soft, pliable rubber, so they're good. They should seat in the seats quite well. So I'm going to get on with that, give these a final cleanage, and then we'll get these little buggers on the bench and we'll put the jets back in. And then don't think I'll fit the carburetors today. I'm not going to have time. But they will be. They'll keep then, you know, until we have a nice day. Get it, but I don't need to put the bike on the bench. I can just pop them on, you know, pop them on the floor and stuff. And hopefully then, when we reintroduce some combustible liquid, it should be able to draw fuel properly as it should. Yeah, but what I'll probably do is that I sort of know they're going to be okay, because that was the problem. So I can fit them to the bike, and I shall only introduce fuel when I'm ready to start it back up again, because I want to get the petcock out of the tank and give that a cleaning too. So that's where we are. Beverage. Merch store. This is what I'm talking about when I'm on about me carb jet cleaning. These are meant for welding nozzles, but you will also find them described under carburetor jet cleaning tool, and basically it's these, look, got a bit of a file on the end, but all different sizes. Lovely. So that's what I'm using now, and I'm going to just, these are alright. I've blew through all of these and blocked the ends up. They're flowing well. They're the main jet holders in your main emulsion tube. They're all good. Jets need put your fucking teeth in. Jets all need a little pass through with one of these, and then a blast through, and then the couple of these I could get out still soaking a little bit. They're partially clear, so I need to ram one of them down, and then we'll do the same with the ones that are stuck in there. Just make sure everything's good before it all goes back together.
One eternity later.
All jets in back together. I decided not to film that bit. You've watched me strip and clean carbs before. Basically, everything went back in the same place it come out of. So yes, so they're ready to pop back on the bike whenever. All I've got to do is the fuel pipes over there. Put the fuel pipe and some clamps on the feeds here. And it's basically, it's two feeds. It's a common feed from the tank that goes click 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 click, and then it splits into two. One side feeds these two carburetors, one side feeds those two carburetors. This is your overflow. They were working, they were quite well when I blew everything out. If I blow down here, fluid will come down here and piss out, because that's the overflow. That's all working good. Obviously we've got to reinstall the idle screw. I might just bench set them again. I'm going to do that again. I like that. Bench set them again. In fact, let me put you down for a second. Flip these over. I'll just turn them over like that. And what I've done, as you can probably see, is you might see a little bit of red rubber grease about. I greased the screws for the float bowls to put them in. I don't know whether the camera will pick it up, but they've got a little dot on them. That dot means JIS screwdrivers, folks. Japanese industry standard. Do not try and strip a Japanese carb with normal Phillips, because you will chew the screws up. And a bike of this origin, bell end, age, will have chewed screws. All these screws are available. You can still buy them. You know, all right. You know, if you're going to be buying from the manufacturer, even if you're buying from a carb spares website, and there's plenty out there, they're going to cost you a couple of quid each. But trust me, they're worth it. They are so worth it. How I bench set the carburettor is, the carburettor that has the throttle wheel, as I call it, attached to it will be your control carb. See, that one goes, look. And what I do is that I open it slightly, and then I shove something down there. It can be anything, as long as you've got two of the same diameter. For instance, these screwdriver shafts are actually exactly the same diameter. I micrometered them, so you could, doesn't matter how far you open it, I could cram one of them down. But something like an Allen key, a dowel, anything like that, anything that you know the dimension of. Bolts don't tend to be very good, because if you get in between the threads, you can actually get a different reading. But what you do is open it up, shove your thing down its gob, close it so it'll sit open slightly, and then what you want to do, like I say, this will be the control carburettor, and on an inline 4 it's often one of the middle ones, but whichever one it is, that's your control. So that's where your initial shoveration goes. And then what you do, these are your adjustment screws. When you're balancing a carburettor, this is what you're altering. And what you're doing, you're matching the butterfly opening to your control. There is a way of doing it. Sometimes what the manual will tell you to do is to pair like A and B, and then the others to this and the others to that, whatever. So if you're not sure, try and get hold of a manual and read it. But what I tend to do is, on something which has equal suction on each cylinder, is I will set them all to the control, so they're all the same gap. Some bikes, some older Suzuki's, air-cooled Suzuki's and stuff like that, definitely have different settings. The two outer carbs will be slightly different to the two inner, because they just pull differently. So make sure you read the manual. And then what you'll do is that you will set the two outer carbs together to the control, and then you will set the inner carbs separately. There will be a different reading for them, but you'll get the hang of it. It's all, everything to do with carburetors is patience. Don't rush it. And also what I'm going to do before they go back on the bike, I'm going to put a little bit of 3-in-1 oil on all the linkages and what have you, and the choke linkages. The chokes pass through the body, and these can corrode, they can get dirty. But what I do, even like a little bit of WD or a bit of 3-in-1 oil, is if I activate the choke like this, you can see they move, look. And quite often a sticky choke can be one of these hanging up, a stiff choke, stiffy. So what I tend to do is pull it back on its travel, put a dot of 3-in-1, not necessarily grease, just put a dot of 3-in-1, and just make sure all of them are lubricated. All the chokes are moving and they're all returning correctly. Sometimes after cleaning you will get the odd sticky plunger, but they come around when there's fuel passing past them. They're piss past them. Yes, so that's the only job I've got to do, but I'm happy with how it's gone. The proof will be in the pudding when we put them back on, but they're ready to go back on now. So in theory I can have a little bit of time on Phyllis tomorrow, stripping it down, hopefully get the head off. I don't know. I did have an idea that I might have a guest spannerer. I might, if it fits into the timeline, get Rose to strip down Phyllis's engine and put the new barrel and everything back on, because it will teach her a bit of mechanicking, and also we'll have a nice pair of boobs to look at.